goodness, I chose the wrong day to take out my contacts. It's so hot in here. Hey guys, my name is Olivia and welcome to my channel. So, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to because I can, I think. I'm going to be doing the Racing to Read tag, book tag. This is part of the reading rush that is going on that I am not doing because I already know I can't complete a readathon. I am a slow reader. I couldn't even do 2 books in the amount of time of this readathon, so I'm not gonna attempt it. But I still wanted to do this Racing to Read tag, so I wrote down all the questions and let's just see how this goes. So from the title of the Racing to Read, you can kind of guess that it's about racing and kind of like track and field and stuff. So the prompts kind of go along with that theme. So the first prompt is the warm-up, which is a book that stretches your mind. And I wasn't positive what to say at first because I was like, oh, a book that stretches your mind. I probably should pick a nonfiction book. And then I ended up picking a fiction book because when I thought about it, fiction can stretch your mind just as much as nonfiction if it's done in like the right way. So for this prompt, I chose I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. This is actually my current read right now, and I really like it so far. The way that this stretches my mind is kind of a personal thing, and it won't do the same thing for everyone because the way this book stretches my mind, or I don't even know if stretches is the right word, but when I was reading this, it just surprised me, and I don't know why, because I knew going into this is about K-pop and Korean culture, but it just surprises me every time it makes like a Korean or Asian reference, because I'm not used to that because I am adopted. I live with a white family and a very small white Dutch community. There's not a lot of diversity in like Asian representation, especially when I was growing up. I honestly didn't even comprehend that there were people who looked like me until like middle school. So, but that might have been my bad and my ignorance. I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. This book just made me kind of remember and really understand. It clicked in my head that there are other books like this where there are Asian representation, there's Asian references, Asian main characters, and there are characters that I can see myself in. The next prompt is start line, which is what's a book that you started but never finished? And for this prompt, I picked The Lie Tree by Frances Harding. I think that's how you say it. So I got this book because I'm in this thing at school called Book Bash, and it's just where you get a list of books every year and you have a team. It can be up to 5 people or so, and your team has to read those 20 books, but like you don't have to read the 20. It's like divided amongst the group and stuff. And then later on, you compete against other teams and take a test and see whoever gets the most questions right. The way I explain it, I wish I could explain it in a way that didn't sound so nerdy, but it's like really fun. Just trust me. So I think my team won or something, and so we got to pick a free book, and this is what they picked. I didn't really want this book because I kind of just knew it wasn't something that I normally go for because I just like romance books. And according to my friends who read this book, there's not a ton of that. And it's also, I think, historical, and that's not really my favorite kind of genre. So I don't want to say I DNF'd this book, because I want to say that I will pick it up someday, because I don't like saying that I just DNF'd a book. That's not who I am. I feel like I should give every book a chance. I just don't know when I'll give this book another chance. It'll be someday, hopefully. The next prompt is Sprint, which is a book you read really quickly. So this is kind of hard because, as I said before, I'm a slow reader and I also have short-term memory, kind of. So I can't remember a lot. I can't really remember how fast or slow I read a book. However, if my memory serves me correctly, I read The Promise of Amazing by Robin Constantine. I believe I read this in like 3 days or so, and that might not be super fast for some of you guys, but like it takes me 1 to 2 weeks at minimum to read a book. So I was really proud that I read this so fast and it was so good. I don't remember a lot about it. I really want to reread it. My friend asked if they could borrow this book from me, and I was like, okay, but don't lose it because I want to reread this. Lose any of the other ones if you have to, but I need this one back. I just know that I really liked the relationship, and I feel like I just thought the main characters were like awesome. I don't know if I'll still feel that way. I really hope so, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Next up is Marathon, which is what is your favorite long book? So this was kind of hard for me because I don't read a lot of long books, and it really also depends on what you consider a long book. I know some people who think long books are any books over 500 pages, and I also know people who won't read anything over 300. So I just went on Goodreads and picked the longest book that I enjoyed, which would be Devil Thief by Lisa Maxwell. This was 704 pages according to Goodreads, and I wouldn't really know because I read this on ebook, so it was still really long, but I couldn't really keep track of how long it really was. So Devil's Thief is the second book in the 3-book, I think there might be more if she changed it, I'm not sure. It's part of the Last Magician series, so the 3rd book is going to come out sometime that I don't know because I'm bad at keeping track of those things, but I hear the 3rd book is even longer. So next is Hurdles, which is what's a book that had ups and downs. So there's a couple different ways for me to go about this. I wasn't sure if I want to do like a book that I have mixed feelings about or just something that could be like really happy and have sad moments too. So I went with the latter. The book I picked was Imagine Us Happy by Jennifer Yu. So I also, my short-term memory makes it so I can't remember a ton about this book. I know like enough because I read it pretty recently. I read it like in the last year or two. This book deals with like mental health and depression and this girl who had her first relationship, but it was with a boy who wasn't at the most stable point in his life. And so there was lots of ups, like they were really happy, and then there was really low moments because they were in an unhealthy relationship. Next is Finish Line, which is a book you were proud to finish. I don't know if it's that I'm not really proud of finishing books or if I'm proud of finishing pretty much every book, because this is kind of a hard question for me and nothing really popped into my head right away. But I feel like I was proud to finish this book, which would be The Prodigy by John Feinstein. This is a sports book. It's about golf, and that's part of the reason that I was so proud to finish it, or at least I think I was. In all reality, I think it was more just that when I was done with the book, I was really excited and I was proud that I read the book in general because I was like, oh, I know about sports now, and like it was one of the first sports books that I've read because I don't really like sports, so I didn't think I'd really like books about sports, but it turns out like so far every book about sports I've read was pretty okay for me. Like I liked them. A lot of the terminology goes over my head and I have to ask my dad, but I liked them for the most part. Next is the Gold Medal, which is the best book you've read during a readathon. So I haven't actually been in a readathon. Like I said before, I am a slow reader. I don't try to participate in readathons. I don't attempt it because I know I won't complete it. So instead of doing readathons, I'm going to do like my book bash books because I feel like that's like a readathon, kind of. It just lasts like months instead of like a week. So for this, I picked The Family Romanov by Candace Fleming. I think I read this book in my first ever book bash, or maybe like second or something, but I just remember really loving it, and it was surprising because I kind of dreaded reading it because it was a historical, I was going to say it's a historical fiction, but I'm pretty sure it was actually nonfiction. It was about the family Romanov, which is like a royal family, and even though it was nonfiction and it had like lots of facts, it was so interesting, and I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, so it had to be good. And all of my other friends who have read it, who are in Book Bash, they loved it too. And it was just really surprising because I'm not really a nonfiction kind of person or historical person. So I was really surprised that I loved it so much. The final prompt would be participation ribbon, and that would be an underrated book you wish got more attention. I'm not positive if this is right for the prompt, but I had to say it because it's technically my favorite book, which would be the Ghostbird series, specifically the first one, which is called Introductions, where it just introduces all the characters, and it's by C.L. Stone. I like to say that this is probably my favorite book of all time, or at least for now it is. I discovered this book in middle school, so I think most of it is just, it has a really like soft spot in my heart, or a special place in my heart. I wasn't sure whether to include this because I know the book isn't for everyone. I do wish it got more attention, but I also understand that not everyone will love it. And honestly, if it got more attention, I feel like some of it would not be positive, because the thing about this book is that the plot is kind of taboo in the romance way, because it's kind of like a bunch of guys and one girl. And I know this might sound weird, but if you watch anime, you kind of understand a little more, especially if you watch like Reverse Harem. It's kind of like that. I personally really love it. I grew up on Reverse Harem animes, and I love this book so much, especially because it also focuses on like family as a choice, and I just really love each character. This book just got me back into reading when I wasn't that into it during like my middle school years. So it has a special place in my heart, and so I'll always love it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm actually kind of excited to edit this because my timer thing of how long I've been recording is not that long. Lately my videos have almost been reaching like half an hour, and so if this is like short, I will be proud. Tell me in the comments your thoughts if you've read any of these books that I mentioned, or tell me in the comments what you're reading now or your answers to some of these questions. Please tell me anything that you enjoyed in this video or you didn't enjoy, or anything that I can just improve on, or even just pop down in the comment section and say hi and tell me how your day was. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will forever and always say that twice, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!